We are joined this morning by Will Bartel. He is our crane operator here at Horsepower Crane. We have been together since the inception of Horsepower. We are now going 7 months strong, and we're not stopping. Will, thanks for joining us this morning, sir. I know it's bright early morning, 6 a.m. being here at headquarters. Again, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
How are you this morning?
I'm doing well. Yourself?
I'm doing good, man.
Good,
I'm doing
good.
good. Yeah. This is actually our second shoot, our second episode. We had some production issues with the first one. So I do appreciate you coming, to do this again. We may touch on some subjects that we touched last time. So just wanted to throw that out there.
That's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I think last time when you were on, you just had a birthday and you were shooting pool. You typically shoot pool Thursdays, no?
That's correct.
Yeah, every Thursday?
I try to.
Yeah. Sweet. Well, let's get into it, Will. Tell us a little bit about yourself, man. Tell us how you got into the crane game, your certifications, how long you've been doing this, and then we'll get into it.
Well, I got into it by just the universe put me there, I guess. I got into the trades at about 19, 20 years old. I was cutting trees around power lines. When I left that, I went into building trades and working there. They had to make some cuts on employees.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, one of their employees quit, who ran a crane for them.
Mm-hmm.
And they came to me and said, "Hey, you got a CDL?" "Yep." "You ever run a crane?" "Nope." They're like, "It's easy. It's just 4 levers. Here you go."
Had you touched the levers before?
Never in my life.
No. Did you ever think they'd put you on and have you operating it?
No, that wasn't my intention.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'd been running bucket trucks and climbing trees, doing that kind of thing. And, once they came to me, I said, "So is this like guaranteed? Like, not going to get fired, right?" And they're like, "Pretty much." I'm like, "Very good. Okay, we'll do that."
Yeah.
And that's when they gave me their oldest crane and said, "Here you go. You're going to a job site where the house is built in the 1800s, all original windows, original chimney, don't hit nothing.
Right. Pressure was on.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Good luck."
I got you.
No broken windows and no broken chimneys. So
Right. And was this you? I know you're from Vermont, and you've also worked for a railroad company. Was this before or after the railroad company?
Before.
This was before.
Yeah. We built homes out of what's called SIP panels, structurally insulated panels, basically 2 layers of plywood with insulation sandwiched in between.
Mm-hmm.
And we traveled the entire Northeast. So for 5 or 6 years, I was home 8 days a month.
Mm.
Weekends only.
Mm-hmm.
Monday through Friday, you're living out of a hotel, traveling.
Yeah.
And once I had my daughter, I basically told them guys, I can't keep living out of hotels.
Mm-hmm. How far were you from home? I mean, out of state?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we'd go to Bar Harbor, Maine, which is almost as far north as you can get. It's almost it's one of the farthest northeast still connected to the United States, not an island now, north as you can get.
Mm.
So
Touching Canada?
almost.
Yeah. Did you ever go into Canada?
I've been into Canada.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up only 3 hours from it.
Yeah.
Went to Montreal. It's a fun time.
Good times?
Yeah. I mean, when you're 18 and you know that the drinking age in Canada is 18 and you're in the United States, of course you're going to try to go there. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah. Yeah. I was playing around with Google the other day, Google Maps, and just decided to look at the border between here and Canada. There's no border. It's interesting.
There's no fence.
Yeah, there's no fence. There's no fence. It's literally just a, what is it? They call it the empty zone. right? There's nothing there. I ran through the whole. Actually, I ran through the whole thing from east to west, and it was interesting to see how you have roads, U.S. roads, that like come to a dead end right at that border, and it's just like no trespassing. Like they said, a no trespassing sign. Like stop.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
then the
no.
road, there's certain instances where the roads continue into Canada. Anyways, we're getting off subject here. Well, nice, man. Working for a railroad company must have had its share of adventures. What's the most unexpected thing that ever happened to you on the job? You were showing me earlier some photos of how you guys fuse these rails together.
Most unexpected things to happen would probably be washouts when you've got beavers. Oh, I hated beavers.
Mm-hmm.
They would dam up culverts, and then the next thing you know, the water level gets high enough because the water can't flow through a culvert,
Mm-hmm.
and it takes out a couple 100 feet of track, and now you've just got railroad track suspended in midair for 200 feet.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
And then it's just 24/7. You don't stop.
Heavy machines. You guys bring in excavators.
Yeah, they hire in contractors to come in with giant excavators, haul trucks, that you'd see in like quarries. And it's round the clock.
Yeah. During those times, would they have you guys stand back and just have them come in, do their thing, move the dirt around, and then when they were finished, you guys would come back in, or?
Yeah, for the most part. There's one particular instance. So what you have to do in that situation is you cut both rails either side of where it's washed out.
Mm-hmm.
That just falls in the hole. The machines rip it out, and then all your track workers build new sections of track in panels, they call it. So you'd have 80 railroad ties, rails set on those, and you just stack them up
Mm-hmm.
to create the length that you need. And then they grab them with their big excavators. Once the hole's filled back in, drag them in place. We bolt it up.
Yeah. Did you operate any cranes during your time at the railroad company?
No, they didn't have cranes.
No.
No.
No. Y'all didn't do any bridge work then. You guys just specifically installed the railing.
Yeah, no, I mean, this was a small outfit, really. It was the largest short line railroad in America, known, but it wasn't a class 1 railroad like what you guys see right around here, your big outfits. So no, most of the work, like bridge work, that would be hired out to contractors, and then as a track foreman, you just provide protection for those workers so that they don't get hit by trains.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Okay. And okay, so operating a crane, would you say is a bit more fun than working on the railroad, or?
I don't know.
No.
It's different.
Yeah.
Everything's got their ups and downs, but there's something about railroad work that's like different.
Yeah. How many guys were in the crew? JM, toss me a pen. Do you have a pen?
Oh, we didn't have many. No. It was when I became a track foreman.
Thank you.
I think I had one coworker for a year and a half. He quit. And then I got another one, and it was just the two of us for about 77 miles of what they call mainline track, 2 railroad yards. That stayed like that till now, this day, because I still talk with some of those guys back north, and every time I talk to one individual, he always starts the conversation with, "You looking for your job back?"
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. But how are you?
He said, "Not unless you're willing to move that job this away."
Right.
Because I'm not going back.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I like the sun too much.
Yeah. Well, operating a crane isn't something everyone gets to do. What's one insider tip or trick about operating that most people wouldn't know?
Staying calm. I think it's just something's, let's say the wind picks up,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden what you're lifting starts going crazy.
Right.
If you panic, you're just going to make the situation so much worse,
Yeah.
which I've witnessed firsthand. When I was running cranes back north, there was a gentleman that wanted to run them. So they'd let him, hop on the sticks and take over. And I didn't care. It's not my crane. I don't own it. Ain't nothing to me.
Yeah.
Go ahead and run it. I'll go nail something together. I'll do something else. Didn't bother me. Then, you get that thing up there ways, and the next thing you know, the wind picks up, and it's a giant sail. And then they start freaking out, not knowing what to do. You put it down.
Yeah.
Get it low.
Right.
Get it away from people, get it away from houses, get it away from whatever. Just get it down.
Right. Wow. Yeah, I've seen some stuff. Well, do you think that comes with experience? I mean, being able to stay that calm during something like that?
Maybe experience, but also just common sense, which isn't common. But, you just got to understand your surroundings.
Yeah. Awareness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but it's just don't be dumb.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's not.
Stay stoic.
You're not building rockets to go into outer space. You just, like, come on.
Yeah.
It's a simple concept. Don't overthink it.
Right. Well, I've never been to Vermont. By the way, you're going back up. You're going back up?
Yes, sir.
Soon? Yeah.
Leaving Friday afternoon.
Yeah. You excited?
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah. I think you told me you're driving up there. You're not catching a plane.
Yeah, we're gonna be driving. It's about 14 hours straight.
Shot. Yeah. You're not gonna stop.
Just for fuel.
Yeah.
Yep.
I gotcha. How do you get to Vermont? Do you have to stop on? Is it all 95? 95 all the way up?
No, 77.
77.
Yeah, I stay away from the coast because the coast will bring you up through Virginia and D.C.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to avoid D.C. as much as possible because it's just a mess.
I gotcha.
So you try to go around all the major cities.
Right.
This is going to be your fastest route.
Yeah.
Even though in a direct line it doesn't seem faster, it's faster.
Mm-hmm.
So the only city we have to drive through is Charlotte, which we're probably hit right at the worst time.
Yeah.
But that's all right.
Yeah. Charlotte's right up the road. I mean,
It is.
Yeah. Sweet. What time are you guys leaving Friday?
Daughter has gymnastics camp until 3, so it won't be until after 3. So we'll be spending, hopefully, some of that day finishing any last minute things, and then hopefully no later than 5.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if I remember right, when we left Vermont to come here, we left at like 7 or 8 at night, and I don't think we got here until, well, we stopped once to sleep. Noon, 1 o'clock.
Yeah. It's a long drive, man.
It was a long drive.
17 hours.
Wow. Well, 16. We did it in 16.
Yeah. Okay, so Vermont, how does the unique landscape and climate of Vermont influence the way construction projects, how they're handled up there? I mean, it's way different.
Far different than here.
Yeah.
There's ledge in the ground.
Ledge, what's that?
Solid rock.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not a lot of sand.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, we had a bridge project go on in our hometown for a major highway, Interstate 91. The company that did the work was based out of Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And when they got up to here, or I should say up there, and started digging, within 4 feet they hit solid, ledge, rock. And they were like, what is this?
Yeah.
And all the Vermont engineers were like, well, that's ledge. You got to either chip through it or blast it.
Yeah.
And they were perplexed because all they dig in is sand all day.
Yeah.
So what they claimed they could do in 5 years took 10.
And this is everywhere up there. I know around Lake Murray, you have a lot of that too. I don't know if it's ledge, but it's very hard, man. Just very hard rock. Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's cold. So in the wintertime, you get frost. And that you got to put on different teeth to the machine buckets, to dig through it.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's one of the reasons you came down south, no? Because of the snow?
Yeah, I didn't want to deal with cold weather and the snow anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You miss it sometimes?
I don't. My kids do.
Yeah.
But I mean, they didn't help me shovel it and clean it up. So,
Right.
Of course, they miss it.
Right. That's how it goes, man. Shoot. You've got a knack for pool. You still going to hit pool this Thursday?
I might.
Packing.
Yeah. I don't know. I've been contemplating stopping. I get too competitive.
Yeah?
So when I'm not winning,
Nothing wrong with that.
It pisses me off.
Oh, okay.
I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got you. Well, you got to get some more practice at the house. You got you got a pool table at the house too, right?
I do. Yes.
Now, have you ever had a night when you completely surprised yourself? Maybe not the opponent, but yourself. You're like, oh, dang, I got it.
Yeah. This last session that we've been playing that started, I think in April? Yeah, anyways. I don't know. I won my first 4 matches right in a row. And then unfortunately the next team we played, who I know the folks on it, and my wife actually plays on that one. They purposely pitted my wife and I against each other. And I was up ahead, and then she came back and rallied and kicked my ass, and I've lost every match since then.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. You haven't gone to Grady's?
No. I play at a couple local West Columbia bars, and I don't know if we're allowed to say the names or not.
You can, yeah.
So one of them is Linda Lou's, which love that place. And then the other one is a private club called Chevy's. And those are the 2 places we've been playing this past last match or season, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I used to live in Florence. I lived there for 6 years. I remember that there was one pool hall we used to go to with some friends. That place had trophies everywhere, man, everywhere. I guess it was a pool hall. They used to have I guess competitions, tournaments there. Yeah. Are these bars like that too? They got.
Yeah, I mean, there's anywhere from 7 to 8 tables at most of the ones I shoot at.
Yeah.
It's with the APA, American Pool Players Association. And yeah, there's some teams like they get a full trip paid for to go out to Vegas to play.
Yeah.
If you're good enough.
Right. Yeah, I think you told me about that. Vegas. Well,
I hear that's a wild place. I've never been.
You've never been?
Nope.
No? Do you want to go?
I have a good friend that I went to high school with who lives out west in Montana, and he's a bartender. He's told me a lot about Vegas. He goes, it's a wild place, Will.
Yeah.
I said, I believe it. And when we were talking, my oldest boy, who at the time was 12 or 13, he walked in, he was like, Vegas. And my buddy just goes, you have no business being in Vegas. Let's just start there. Yeah. I went, okay, good to know.
Yeah, some folks take their kids. Some folks they're like, oh, come on, let's go. It's a playground for adults, though. It's not a kid friendly environment. Well, speaking of Vegas, it's exhilarating. Speaking of exhilarating, what's more exhilarating for you, Will? The power and precision of moving massive materials with a crane, or the detailed logistics and teamwork from the railroad days? Which one's more,
That's a tough one. Like I said before, man, they're 2 different animals. You almost can't even compare. Mm-hmm. They're just very different. Yeah. A lot of stuff that went with the railroad is just so unique. There's no other industry that has those machines. I mean, it's specifically just for what it does. But I don't know. Cranes are pretty cool too.
Yeah. You also know how to weld. Did you pick up welding when you were working for the railroad, or is this a skill that you've had before?
So a little of both. I got decent at it from working at the railroad. I mean, I grew up with a father that had, what's called a MIG welder, like a wire feed welder, and he's pretty damn good at doing just about anything. So I would attempt to do things like that when I was a teenager, and I would fail miserably and then just walk away because I'm like, well, fuck this. I'm not decent at this. I'm not going to keep doing it, which was the wrong attitude to have. But anyways, yeah, when I started, when I was working at the railroad, watching gentlemen arc weld, stick weld, I was like, that looks way easier than spiking ties.
Yeah.
I want to do that. I'm like, show me how to do that. I'm like, yeah, just watch. Then after a while, you go, okay.
But don't watch.
Well, yeah, I mean, you obviously shield and what have you. And then eventually they go, well, just go weld that over there. I'm like, okay. He's like, yeah, you can't fuck it up. It's 10-mile-an-hour track. Like, you got to do some pretty bad shit to make a train go on the ground for 10 miles an hour. Like,
Yeah.
that's the other thing, with the crane work and the railroad, the similarity is there's a lot of governing rules or basically just things you need to know in order to not get people hurt. So with cranes, it's load charts and understanding deductions from them and just, not to push certain limits. And then with the railroad, I mean, there was tolerances up to, you're talking 1/4 inches that things could be within. And if they were out of that, then you either have to slow down the speed of those trains or it is completely removed from service and nothing can go over it.
Yeah, you showed me that tool that you guys used to bind the rails together. That was pretty neat.
Yeah, the thermite welding. I like doing that for some reason.
Yeah.
Most people hated it because it's, you're standing over a 1,000-degree fire.
Yeah. Were there any times where things would get kind of would start to simmer and maybe get on you and you're like, oh, you're like, get it off of me? And
Yeah, stick welding.
yeah.
Arc welding.
Yeah.
The slag, when you're chipping it back off, it go places, and that's how you end up with burn marks all over you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But not on the railroad. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and then even when I came down here and was working for SCDOT doing bridge work, welding, H piles together. That was cool too, driving piles in the ground.
That's a workout, man.
Not really. I mean,
No?
it's a giant 80-foot tall diesel hammer.
Yeah.
You gotta.
What's that?
Oh, it's yeah. You can
Yeah.
look that stuff up.
Yeah.
Look up a diesel impact hammer.
Let's see.
No. Images. Come on. There you go. Yeah, that.
Wow.
Yeah, go one over.
This one?
No.
This one.
There you go. Basically that. But that one's driving circular piles. We were driving, H piles, I-beams. But you see, so you got the cage.
Got a crane right there.
Right. But you got that red cage is known as the leads. So one part of the crane picks that up. And then that part that you've got the arrow on is the hammer. And the crane is also attached to that with its auxiliary ball, not the main hoist. And that picks up the ram inside the hammer, right? And it's just a giant 1-cylinder engine, basically. So when it picks up that ram, diesel fuel squirts in on top of the anvil that sits on top of whatever you're driving. And then once that ram gets picked up high enough with the crane, it automatically releases because it hits a catch point.
Boom.
And it drops down on top of that anvil, which now has diesel fuel squirted on top of it, which is how a diesel engine fires, is just sheer compression.
Yeah.
So when it hits that, it then shoots it back up, and it just keeps driving, and it doesn't stop until it hits something really, really hard. And you hope you catch it before then, because once you do that, it starts twisting everything, which is what we ran into in Kershaw. That was a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
It's a diesel cylinder hammer thingy-majig. Do they do this? Is this the same tool they use for dock work? Or?
Yeah, more or less.
That's what they're doing here, it looks like. Yeah, no.
Right, and you see how it shows the number 35? Like that, it's all measured out, so they know how far it's being driven down in.
How heavy is this thing? This thing looks heavy, man.
The one that we had at the DOT was 18,000 pounds in total. So you had an 80-ton truck crane that would pick it up. Because basically, if it's 18,000 pounds, you might as well call it 20.
Right.
And that gives you a little safe wiggle room there.
You bring this on a semi-truck, right?
Yeah, it gets broken down into pieces.
Wow, look at that.
So the one we used was made by a company called ICE. You could look that up if you typed in, the ICE diesel hammer.
Let's take a look. This one?
Yeah, that's it.
I'm sure the picture doesn't do justice.
Yeah,
What, this one?
Yeah, that's what it looks like. That's exactly it. Yes, sir.
It's a bad motherfucker.
So pile driving was cool. That was cool.
Yeah. Was it loud?
Yes, it's loud.
You have to wear like equipment to...
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the other fun part is that if the auxiliary ball or the headache ball that is supposed to pick up the hammer, the ram, doesn't want to feed down through the leads, you then got to climb that thing and help it out, because there's like a ladder that goes up the side of it. So you got to climb up, potentially 80 feet. And then,
Yeah, that thing's tall. Look, I mean, there's a guy right there, and look.
yeah,
Massive.
that's,
Looks like fun.
yeah. And you got to like level the leads off by eye. Like you're kind of looking at it like, yeah, that looks plumb. Sure.
Yeah.
Drive it.
Yeah.
And then it goes in sideways. And you're like, fuck.
Yeah, it's like a ram set nailer, but instead of using a bullet, it uses diesel fuel to combust the impact. It's pretty cool. Pretty neat. It's like a giant diesel cylinder.
Yeah. Just a giant single cylinder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's neat. Looks heavy, man. Looks heavy.
Indeed.
Talk about heavy equipment. Well, speaking of heavy, man, you're fixing up your boat, and you want to hit the lake before summer's over, which sounds like an awesome plan. What are you planning to do when you first hit the water? Have you been on Lake Murray yet with the boat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's wonderful.
It is.
Yeah.
I think they had a boat parade this holiday weekend.
Of course they did.
I was on the dam and I saw, I kid you not, I saw at least 50 boats coming in, and there was cops everywhere. I'm like, what? I'm like, oh, it's a boat parade. Flags everywhere, boats everywhere, jet skis too.
Yep. I missed out.
Did you go to the one last year?
No. We're new. We don't know nothing.
Yeah. That's fun. It's fun. There's some restaurants you can hit too. I'll tell you all about them that are on the coast, like on the certain areas, certain marinas. Yeah.
I've seen a San Jose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to find that one of these days.
There's a San Jose. There's I think one called Nacho Margarita.
Oh, that sounds like they're going to serve me pictures of margaritas.
Yeah. I got them on
Lovely.
Facebook. Yeah, that
Good.
looks like they're partying every night.
And I can just get right up to a dock?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
You get Liberty. Liberty on. Have you been to that one? Liberty
No.
on the lake.
No.
That one's on the way to Chapin, not too far from here. Fun times. Yeah. How's it looking? What do you? I know last time you told me there was
I haven't heard anything in a week or two, so it's going to be expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what boat stands for, right?
No.
Break out another 1,000?
Oof. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not kidding.
Yeah. Doing the work yourself?
If I could have had, I would have. But with the kids and their schedules and my schedule, it wasn't happening.
Yeah.
So I said, the hell with it. Send it somewhere.
Mm-hmm. It was going to be a long summer, Will. You'd be good, man.
And then they called me and said, we have never run into anything like this before. And I went, shit, that sounds really expensive.
Of course they haven't.
Well, that's comforting.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what are you going to do?
Mm. Break out another 1,000.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Shoot, man. Thanks for doing this again, Will.
Oh, are we done already?
I think so.
This is it?
Yeah, I think so. We'll do this again now. Probably get another episode in or two down the line.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, but cool stuff. If people don't know, get into the trades.
Right. Well, that's a crane, Wilson. Did you guys always have a crane? I mean, following you guys?
So
That's a big one.
the state of South Carolina has their own lattice boom crane,
Mm-hmm.
like what you see there.
That's on a barge.
Just not as large as that one.
Mm-hmm.
But they hire another company to basically be on retainer for them, that if they need a crane,
Boom.
they'll have one.
Yeah.
But their requirement is it needs to be no less than 75 ton. And yeah, unfortunately, we're not there yet. Oh yeah, look at the name on the side of that one. That's
Nice.
a local competitor.
Maximum.
Look at the counterweights on that thing.
It's like blocks of steel, man. Yeah. Looks like most of this stuff is in marine.
Oh, a lot of pile driving is marine or bridge work.
Mm.
Yeah. So there you go, kids. You want to make money? Go be an underwater welder. That's where the money's at.
I tell Paul this all the time too. I said, "Hey, you know they're pouring concrete in the ocean as we speak." Seems like anything underwater is like where the bucks are at.
That's what I did with DOT.
Whoa, look at that, man.
Yep.
Big kahuna.
We would drive pile into the ground.
Got another one of these hammers, look.
Yeah. So it fits around the flanges and the web, the center web. And once you drive it so far, you then have to torch cut it. Well, you have to take another stick, right? Because those are probably only 50 feet in length, the sticks of steel there.
Mm-hmm.
So if it goes down into the ground so far and you haven't hit bedrock, you got to weld on a whole another stick to that stick and keep driving it.
Mm-hmm.
And we had to do that. And that's when they were like, you can weld? Yes. Yes, I can.
Yeah.
So you weld two piles together, and then you keep driving them.
Where's the diesel tank to this hammer? Is there like a fuel line?
So it's gravity fed.
Mm-hmm.
And if you take your cursor, you see the green part?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, stop that right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's the fuel tank.
This is the fuel tank?
Yes, sir.
Mm.
And it feeds downward,
Mm-hmm.
down, into somewhere in there,
Mm-hmm.
up a little bit actually. and that's where the anvil is, right? The anvil that is sitting on top of the pile. So then, like I said earlier, that secondary winch picks up the ram that's inside that green tube. You see how it's round at the top, right?
Yep.
So it picks that ram up. Once it picks the ram up past a certain point, that diesel fuel is just gravity fed to a small injector, which just squirts it on top of that anvil. And then when it drops,
Boom.
and it just keeps firing.
Boom. Boom. Boom.
So you only have to pick it up once,
Yeah.
the ram, that is.
Yeah.
And then the crane just sits there holding it. You know, the big leads, which is the black cage part that is around the green hammer itself.
Right.
And it just holds that there while it fires. And then there are 3 ropes connected to that green hammer. And you basically can control the speed of how fast it drives by it allows either more fuel to squirt in. So if more fuel squirts in, it's going to shoot that thing higher and faster. In fact, you could shoot the ram completely up out of it, which then could kill people.
Yeah.
So you got to be aware of that. And then there's a 3rd rope that if you pull on it, it just cuts the fuel off. You know, it makes it bypass and it just loops back into the fuel tank.
I would assume the more dense the rock is, the more diesel you squirt into it.
You don't want to hit that into rock.
No.
No. You'll twist the piles. You'll muckle them all up. It'd be bad.
Yeah.
It's a bad day.
Man, that's
for going through dirt,
yeah.
sometimes clay.
Yeah.
Clay gets pretty hard too.
What happens when you guys run into water tables?
I never ran into water tables.
No.
I would imagine you just keep driving. You drive and drive and drive until that thing stops.
Right.
And then once it stops, you hope that whoever's on the ropes stops it quick. Because like I said, we drove, and the next thing you know, I watched a 50-foot I-beam just twist.
Yeah.
So that thing that your cursor's on, that piece of steel,
Yeah.
twisted
Yeah. Things got power.
like a rotini noodle.
Yeah.
There's some serious kinetic energy inside that steel at that moment.
Oh yeah.
Like it, yeah. I don't know. I liked everything where at any given moment things can go very sideways. I liked that.
Here's your what is this? Like a ruler?
Yeah.
Like a giant ruler.
Right. They mark it out in feet.
Yeah. Pretty neat, man. Well, brother, thank you for
stuff.
joining us this morning, man.
Yeah. Anytime.
Yeah. Again, we'll have to do this. We'll have to do this next time. We shoot very early in the morning, guys. So that's why we're sipping on coffee. This is our second cup. How do you like that coffee?
That's good coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll try to get us some Death Wish next time.
Yeah. It was good stuff too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, Will.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Hey, have a good day, guys.